Hello, I am your author and host, Michelle Lynn Gaines. Welcome to my place.
Feeling lost
or empty,
worried,
need emotional healing, guidance, or just a different way to view yourself. Welcome to Insights for Life, an MLG production.
Empowerment. Getting back the pieces of you. Imagine navigating life's unpredictable seasons, from barrenness to abundance, with an unshakable inner peace and a profound sense of God's presence. Sound impossible? It's not. There are ways to cultivating true resilience and tranquility and peace, even when the ground beneath you feels like it's shifting. The pieces of us are the things that make up us, like the good parts and the bad parts and the parts that are sad or lonely or maybe stressed or in trauma. But it is also all of the good stuff too. Positive relationships we have leave us unscared and become part of the pieces of us, but so do the negative ones. Some people have scars from their childhood from their parents, circumstances at home, or trauma from violence. And it leaves us with damage to our infrastructure. We feel this, and with the lack of power of change it at the time or now, we feel a lack of power over our situations. Feeling powerless never feels good. So how do we take that power back? We all have to acquire money, housing, and food each day. Sometimes the endless search for position and provision also add to our feeling powerless and add to the problem. Some of us had good childhood filled with all the right things like love, security, and feeling approved of and wanted. Fitting in with others and being judged and shut out happens a lot in our adolescence and our adult life too. Or maybe fitting in was easy for you, but you never really felt connected to the people around you. These things also make up the pieces of us. Like adult life and relationships can be very connective, and love heals a multitude of wounds. But what happens when people we love do not see the best in us? Or maybe they do and they do not approve. When we are constantly under fire and in conflict, or when we feel like we are losing something important that we value and once had, it adds to the feeling of being powerless. The pieces of us. So are we just supposed to walk around carrying them in a satchel, having good days and bad days with sporadic spurts of happiness in between? Some people say that it is just life and the way it is. Like I used to believe them. But no, I know the truth, that those people might be happy, and I hope they are, but living healed and whole with the pieces of you made whole, not glued back together with the cracks, but healed as if it were never broken is a real thing. To walk free of the baggage we carry, to make each day peaceful and meaningful because I am different. There is always the 10 steps to a better you classes, but I do not think they work, not really. To stop playing the tapes in your mind of a fight or something someone said to you that hurt you or made you feel inadequate or that you failed at something. Or maybe you are feeling tired of others constantly wronging you. Maybe your whole life you have been taken advantage of or pushed around emotionally. Maybe you feel overlooked and unseen your whole life. Some go through life feeling like no one has ever seen the real beautiful us inside because they only see the outside in the middle. They overlook us or judge us too quickly without ever really wanting to know the us inside. Some people feel like they are fading away into the cracks of time, never to escape the bonds of which they know, never to see their circumstances change or ever see a life beyond what they have seen and know. Perhaps you do not know what I'm talking about, and that is good. Your pieces of you are not scattered into many pieces, but maybe one day of 1 year you will find yourself in a season of life that is not so good to you, and you will remember these insights for life. But to those who know what I speak of, you do not have to stay in too many pieces, not if you do not want to. I imagine that if you could have sorted it all out on your own, that you would have by now. Or maybe you have, but it still feels heavy and very much still a big part of you. Stress, anxiety, trauma, bitterness, emptiness, and sadness keep us stuck right where we are like a glue. How do we get our inner power back so that negative things and emotions we feel from other or our situations do not affect us so much? Our mental health and emotional health often affect our physical health. It is amazing how they all tie in. And so do some other insights for life that we will share during these episodes. They tie in together for your food for thought. Our emotions are very powerful in controlling how we think, feel, and react to so many things. Positive emotions are good and keep us more joyful, but no one gets a life of nothing but positive emotions. Not on this side of heaven anyway. So if we cannot control what other people think and say and do, then how do we change them? Well, you cannot. Not really. They have to want healing, wholeness too. Most people do not see themselves as a problem. So most likely by setting ourselves free from the effect all the negative stuff has on us is the way to ultimately improve relationships with ourselves and others around us. Maybe they will change because your approach to them changes. Some of us beat ourselves up more than others do. And some of us choose to let others do it for them. Either way, we are battered inside, sometimes ready for the next fight, and sometimes we lick our wounds like wounded animals. Either way is not healthy or productive to you. Negative emotions and negative energy leave us drained. There is a difference between someone who has let you down or hurt you, who is sorry and would change it if they could and seek your trust and forgiveness, and someone who will never care that they hurt you. They are self-centered and will never be truly deeply hurt by others. It is a self-preservation layer that makes them the survivor, whether they leave you for dead or not. That part is up to you. Holding on to things, types of things, only hurts you. It does not hurt the other person or object of the hurt. Jesus can help with this vicious cycle that our emotions, feelings, and circumstances keep us stuck on, sometimes stuck like glue. The first step is to believe that Jesus is who he says he is and can do what he says he can do. Then we began to see him as powerful enough to change your circumstances, the power to change hearts, but even your own. Let Jesus in by talking to him about the pieces of you. He already knows, but he likes it when you talk to him about it. He has been waiting for you a long time, longer than you know.
In social media and our values that we're taught and what defines us, what gives us identity. And as we start to walk with Jesus, we'll realize that we have an identity in this world, but we also have an identity in the kingdom. We have an identity to him. And as we start to see ourselves less through the world's eyes and more through Jesus's eyes, and this all starts when we learn to walk with him. Jesus. People say what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but I've never had much faith in that. Sometimes it just leaves us battered and bruised. I think we lose pieces of ourselves when we go through severe trauma, like a bad childhood or a divorce or the death of someone that was very important to you and that you were very important to. We lose pieces of ourselves. Now, how do we get those back? Long-term trauma, let alone being held captive, can have lasting effects. Well, I'm not sure that you're supposed to get these pieces back. Surviving trauma is one thing. Losing someone you love by divorce or death is quite another. Both leave us feeling like pieces of us are missing, though. Maybe becoming healed and whole should be the goal as we take these pieces with us into our future. If you're missing someone you love, carry them with you. If you're surviving trauma, we'll learn to leave it behind as we become healed and whole. This can fill all these holes in you, lead you to that place you think you need to be. He will, sometimes he does move you, and sometimes he leaves you right where you are and changes your view. Most of us are all too familiar with the hamster wheel of life. For some of us, the hamster wheel starts when we are very young. We wake up every morning and our days are pre-planned. We go to school until the age of 20, and then we go to work. For others, the hamster wheel as waking up, looking for food or shelter. For others, the hamster wheel is waking up isolated, Maybe we're elderly, maybe we're in a prison, maybe we're in a wheelchair. But the hamster wheel guarantees us one thing, that we keep going on and on about our tasks of the day, whatever they be. And each day is the same. Some of us start to feel empty. Some of us start to feel like we just can't do it anymore, while others live in despair. But either way, waking up on Mount Zion is very different. Okay, so has anyone ever woken up angry or disgruntled? I think a lot of us have. Has anyone ever woken up thinking, I just can't do this another day? Has anyone ever woke up thinking, oh, this is awesome, I love my life, but I just don't understand this God stuff, this Jesus stuff? Well, we're all headed in the same direction. And so it's not about not waking up every day, kicking things, or that depression and rudeness. It's about focusing on something else to override it. It's not mind over matter. It's using a power greater than our own to take our focus off of the things that are wrong. We can't change our circumstances all the time, but God can, Jesus can. But sometimes we want things that we don't get right away. And when things don't start to change, oh, this doesn't work. And it's the power of right believing, I think, that overcomes that. When we take our focus off of our situation, our feelings, our toxic emotions, our self-occupation with comparing our body images, jealousy, loneliness, feelings of inferiority, all these complexes that we have, they're not there on Mount Zion. And when we get to this place where we no longer judge ourselves and we stop judging others, and we wake up on Mount Zion with Jesus, our perspective actually starts to change about our lives and the world around us. It's not a magic bean. It's just a different viewpoint. It's a different perspective. And it leads to a different life's journey in your life with Jesus. Why go alone in what the world calls a race when you can take Jesus with you and have all this power and grace? When we learn to walk in the power of God, when we learn to live spirit-led, it's just the power of the three. It's hard to describe. So one day at a time, we will approach a different angle, a different dynamic, a different aspect of this kingdom, so that it may lead to living your life at a higher dimension, and a higher living, and a higher state of being, as God does change your life for you in pieces. As we do become different on the inside and the out. The world changes us from the outside in. God changes us from the inside out. Because here on Mount Zion, you're not waking up in and out of your circumstances. Mount Zion is the mountain Jesus stands on. It's a spiritual concept for sure, especially for those of us still alive. But you can think of it as waking up in a tent on a mountain, and you feel this peace. You're not happy and you're not sad. You're not hungry and you're not full. You feel this peace. You can hear the birds chirping in the distance. You come out of your tent and you see Jesus. You look around you. It's green grass. It's peaceful. You don't feel all this war inside of you, or the tug and pull and the push and pull. You look around and you can see other tents from people who have made it to Mount Zion. You can stay here as long as you want to. You can walk around with Jesus. Feel the peace. But then when we're ready to start our day, it's like you look at Jesus and he nods his head to you. And he takes you into your day, and you walk together through him, whatever your chores are, whatever your errands are, whatever your tasks or jobs are. And if you sit alone in isolation, you wake up on Mount Zion, you're focused on Jesus, his peace is in you, it's with you, it's all around you. There's no despair, there's no lack, there's no anger, there's no jealousy. It's all just doesn't matter now, not here on Zion. And as you begin your day, you look over and Jesus is still with you. You can picture him beside you. You can picture him taller than you. It does not matter. It's a concept of the fact that he goes with you throughout your day. No space between you. And if you'll step into rest in Jesus, as you go through the tasks of your day, as you sit alone in isolation, somehow you will get through all this. You will get through your day. And if you rest in Jesus and focus on him and allow him to elevate you, you will get through that day. You will get your tasks done. You will find what you need. It may not be everything you want, but you will find what you need. And you won't be tired. You won't be angry. You won't be stressed. You are resting in Jesus. You are elevated. The form of the fourth is walking with you. And when you go to bed each night, wherever it is, you focus on Jesus. You focus on what you've learned. If you pray in tongues, and you will sleep soundly. And each day you wake up, you are on Mount Zion with Jesus. This peace overwhelms you. This path is set before you. So maybe you're not there yet, my friend. But you will be. And if you stick with the 55 days and the power of right believing, you'll wake up on Mount Zion and you'll see the difference. Because you're not waking up in and out of your circumstances anymore. Not mentally and not in your heart. There's a difference between knowing it in here and knowing it in here. And there's a difference between living it. But waking up on Mount Zion will be a very different feeling, and you will know when you do. Because you will feel, it's almost like you can see the realms, his realm and our realm just converging. As our lack, our loneliness, our misery, our despair fades away in the presence of Jesus. And if we could walk in that every day, as we go on about our insurmountable tasks, as we go on about our food search, as we go on about our loneliness and our isolation, he can fill that empty space. He can elevate you. It's not about giving you the energy you need. It's about making it to where you do it. You walk through it. You find it. And you're not tired or stressed because you haven't taken every impact and every negative emotion and toxic emotion into you. There's no self-occupation here. We are no longer self-occupied with everything we think we need and are angry we didn't get. Worry and fear are far from you. And the longer you wake up here, the more you start to see, the more you start to feel differently. And the more some of our addictions, our habits, our toxic thoughts and emotions, our wrong believing start to peel away. And this is where another level of change and elevation in our thought process can occur. It may not be right now, but it is a reality. So Psalms 23, along with the miracle, the form of the fourth, with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they tie in such a way as to that Jesus is telling us he crosses time and space to walk with us. That we are alone but never alone. But stepping into it, knowing it in here and knowing it in here, well, those are just two different things, aren't they? So how do we step into that? How do we walk elevated and rested? How do we walk without fear? How do we walk rested? How do we receive that supernatural supply waiting for us? How do we move past where we are? So whether you're stuck somewhere or you just want a deeper relationship with Jesus in the kingdom of God, you don't have to do your life's journey alone.